you have done in your life, right? Who comes to your funeral, right? It's all about what you've done in your life, right? If you fought with somebody and that somebody doesn't like you, do not come to your funeral, whatever. I mean, begin with an end in mind. So what this habit talks about is that if you have an end, you know where you're going to end. You walk backwards. Okay? So as I said, if your destination is moon, you're going to walk backward and you're going to create small milestones. Okay? And your career that I just showed over there is 35 years. 25 years when you walk out of your college or the MBA college provided, you have 35 years to work. And all that blocks is multiple, okay? And then you can have small blocks within. But I just noted some areas that you can always look at. Operations, IT, admin, relationship management, sales, and then at the end you become a business leader. A business leader is a designation given to generally the vice president and senior vice president. It's called the executive EVPs of the company. They actually manage the portfolio. So if you handle a FMCG, there will be, like a regional sales entire manager, right? So that becomes a business leader, that kind of thing. So different companies will have different designations, but at the end you become a business leader in the corporate world. And I said, I'm going to talk about corporate world a lot many times. So if your end is a business leader, or not to discourage women in the room here, but sometimes some women are very clear. I don't want to work after 10 years. You know why? Because I have 3 children, and managing 3 children is very difficult. It's a fact, right? A lot of dropouts, or not a dropout, dropout is a very wrong word. A lot of women managers, they kind of take a sabbatical when they have a baby, because they're the ones who deliver the baby and they're in the hospital, and then they take a lot of time to come back to the office, right? If you do not come back within a period of 3 to 4 months, you will never come back. And that gap of 2, 3, 4, 5 years will become go on and on. So some women are very clear. I work for 10 years, have 2 kids, and then if I take a break, but they take a break and then they change. But for men, I mean, you will not take a break in most cases. Unless you decide to come back to Imphal and stay for 1 year because you love Imphal, or whichever case. But I'm saying that your stages of your career has to be controlled, not by anybody else, but by you, by yourself. You control your decisions, you take the right decisions. And what I want to show here is that it's a stage, right? So you start with a small job. I started with a very small job when I was in Delhi. I was a management trainee for a retail company. It was very small. People were saying, hey, you've done engineering, why are you working here? This was before my MBA, and I actually said that I want to do MBA this time and learn sales, right? Retail sales. So retail operations is very, very different. When I was working, there was no retail business kind of a subject available in the market. I mean, there was no subject. You have to go to the market, become hands-on with the job, and then learn the tools, right? For example, there's no company, a college in India today which teaches insurance. But that's a company to come up, insurance management. There's something called, they set up, Indian government has set up something called Insurance Institute of India, III, right? And if you have a certification from there, you can become an insurance agent and all that. So different agencies will give you different kind of training. But I'm saying, you start very small and you move. So if you draw a graph, and I don't have the graph here, but if you see the graph here, as you go up the career, when I say the career, I mean your ladder of your career, in terms of your hierarchy or whatever you do, in terms of experience. And as the year passes by, your salary will also go going up the ladder, and your years is, you're adding years to your belt, right? You settle down, you marry, and all that. Now, a lot of people, I would say, maybe from the Northeast, or a lot of young folks who doesn't understand the system, who doesn't understand the market, they are very much influenced by companies, okay? By companies who are willing to pay a 15% hike in their salary, and they just quit and go and join the company. The problem in that is, you get a 15% hike in your salary, but you have moved on from a company, very good company, let's say you're working for a very good company, you move on to another good company after working for 2 years or something like that. You move up because you were offered a 15% hike in your salary, Guess what you did? You just killed yourself. You know why? Fine, you got a 15% hike in your salary. But you just started your career from the base again. Because you didn't get, see, when you move a career, you should always move from one company to another if you are going up the hierarchy. So it's like, you know, you have a ladder, you have a ladder here, you have a ladder here. You're supposed to climb up, right? You didn't climb up, you just changed the ladder again. Okay? So, but when you change the ladder, you can also climb up from here to this ladder. That's how you climb up. Let's say this company is not giving you a promotion. We're waiting for a promotion for a very long time. You are a very good team leader, potential team leader, have been trained on team leader skills and all that. But the company is not giving you a team leader promotion because the boss was not good, something went wrong, and you're frustrated. So what do? Then you start looking at the market. When you look out for the market, then you're looking out for something else. You're not being, you know, some HR consulting firm or some job consulting firm has not come and say, oh, I'm going to give you 15% hike, please join our company. No. You are now looking out for yourself. See, there's a difference, right? You're now looking for yourself, saying that, can somebody give me a team leader job or a managerial position job? Because this company that I'm working for right now, they're not giving me anything. So you get frustrated in some way. But you can always negotiate, you should always try to look for, there's a risk in moving up. When you move from one ladder to the other ladder, other company, and you jump like this, the risk there is that this company will have a expectation that they want you. They will think that you're all this skilled. Maybe you manage to pass the interview, cross the interview, you manage to do all that. You join, but if you start making mistakes in your role because you've never been a team leader, you were trained to become a team leader, but when you're there, what happens? If you make mistakes, they will not treat you nicely because they expect a lot. They expect to deliver immediately. There will be team issues, somebody will be fighting and all that. When I say fight, there will be issues, there will be conflicts, there will be, somebody will say, oh, my salary was supposed to be raised, they didn't raise and all that. So whatever you face, you face the same problem here. But if you're in your current company, if you are moving on the ladder, if you become a team leader, if you become a management trainee, if you make mistakes, there will be one HR program manager for you who will help you, who will guide you, who will handhold you, right? But this is a new company who's recently hired you with a hike, very good salary hike. You got, you were getting 20,000 here, you just jumped here with 30,000. But guess what? You are not able to perform because you don't know the job well, because you've never done it in your life. So that's the risk. But if you're very confident, if you know that I can do it, you can always jump. Okay, so I did that a long time back, about 5 years back. I moved from the company in Delhi to Chennai, and I actually faced some problems because I didn't get any support when I wanted to take some decisions where I wanted to help, right? So if your end is not clear, guess what? You don't know when you're going, right? You have to be sure that you're going here. So if your end is that, every skill that you add, both soft skills and technical skills, soft skills, technical skills, two kinds of skills. You will keep adding as you move up, every time. Okay? So if you add, in over a period of 15 to 18 years, I just said 35 years in the span, but you can achieve star performers people who are very good, can become vice president of a company by about 35 to 40 years. Okay? It's a good year to become a business leader. Right? So if you don't become that also, it's okay to become a business leader by 45. There's no harm in that. But if you really work hard, if you move forward, you can actually become one in less than 20 years. Okay? With a salary of, I think business leaders, depending on the company which they work, gets a salary of about anywhere between 1.5 crores to about 3 crores, right? That's the salary they get. I mean, with perks and so many things, okay? They will give you a joint, if you move on from a company to another company as a business leader, the joining bonus is nothing but a Mercedes Benz, right? So they give you like that, right? As a token of appreciation, you just joined, so give you a car, right? So, and a house, right? So, and that was actually not a joke. This happens to many people, right? So as the blocks that I was telling you, I was talking about the soft skills and technical skills, right? I just plug this into many things. But this is the 3 or rather 4 major skills that you have to learn. And it takes time. I also was very naive and very young when I was 22 years old when I started my job. I'm fortunate that I had a mentor, and I'll talk about that on the slides, right? So there are people who are willing to teach. You have to find those people. You cannot learn by yourself. You can if you're somebody who's very good at learning by yourself and reading books, looking at YouTube. But there are people who cannot learn like that. There are people who need somebody to help you, teach you. So every company will have a lot of modules, a lot of things on these areas. Okay? A leadership skill can be learned just by watching a video, right? Just by reading a book. Mahatma Gandhi was a very good leader, right? So likewise, different leaders, different type of leaders, political, non-political, different type of leaders, right? So leadership skills, my biggest learning about leadership skills is from books. Okay? Early days I started reading books like Straight from the Gut by Jeff Welch, right? He was the ex-CEO of GE, one of the biggest companies in the world. Now the CEO is Jeff Immelt and all that. So they have a lot of my first company was actually, I can tell you, it was GE. After I left the retail company, I joined GE. Right now it's called Genpact. I don't know if you know that company. Genpact is a big BPO company. Their main head office is in Gurgaon. They have a lot of material. So just like Genpact was a GE company, but they sold it off. So they have materials and tons of materials. So when you join a company, that's the #1 perk that you get, which no other people will get. You are an outsider, you will not get access to those leadership skills modules, right? E-learning module, training module that you have. You will be able to access what you call the intranet, the company's intranet, which is available only to the employees. So you can always use those skills, the modules, to improve your skills. So by learning, by watching leaders, by talking to managers, by talking to your friends, colleagues, watching movies about leadership, you can improve in many ways. In fact, one of the biggest learning about many of the soft skills that I was saying in my past several years is from movies. I watch a lot of movies around leadership, around several things, right? So you will also come to know about it. So one of the movies are on conflict management. I didn't put it there because it's a very heavy word, but conflict management is a very negotiation skills. Conflict management. You will have a lot of movies around that, and movies will create that picture for you, paint the picture what happens. Because sometimes if you read a book, you may not be able to paint it well, but if you see the movie, you can see what's happening. All right. So the movie that I was trying to talk about conflict management was, if you can see whenever you have time, a movie called 13 Angry Men. Okay. And you should always try to watch in a group. If you watch it separately, whatever, come out of the movie and have a dialogue, have a discussion. What happened in this movie? How this guy was doing and stuff. It's a very nice movie. And the entire movie is just one room. You have just one room, and there's a decision to be taken by this jury. You know about a jury in the US, right? So when a court, a judge decides that somebody is guilty, the jury goes into the room and they agree or disagree with the judge's decision, right? So this boy was convicted for for killing his father. And then they come into this room and there's certain people. I think it's 12 Angry Men. I think it's 12 Angry Men, sorry. It's 12 Angry Men, if I'm not mistaken. I kept saying 13 though. The first time when they took a vote, 11 people out of 12 said that the boy is guilty. And as the movie progresses, okay, there's this one guy who says that I don't know whether the boy is guilty or not. Okay? I don't know whether the boy is not guilty or not. But I'm also not convinced that the boy is guilty. This is what he says in the movie, okay, the first scene. And as the movie progresses towards the end, everybody says, and the jury cannot take a decision unless everybody says yes or no, right? So at the end of the movie, all the 12 people said that the boy is not guilty. And this one man managed the conflict resolution, spoke to several people in the movie. It's a very interesting movie. It's a very, very interesting movie, I'm telling you. And you will learn how the communication, the style of the conflict management and all that. They're genius, you know. so the second skill, okay, the second skill is deadly. It's a skill that is the most critical of all in your entire career, and this skill is something that will allow you to express yourself. This skill is something that is required as a foundation for various other skills. Okay, a leader is known by the speech they give, right? So sometimes, you know, Mahatma Gandhi was known to be not very good at orating and giving speeches, but he had a very strong speech, or the way he spoke in many sessions. But what I'm trying to say is the communication skill is a skill that is required for everything that you do. If you want to do negotiation, it's communication again, right? If you want to say conflict management, it's negotiation. If you want to give a feedback to somebody, it's communication skill, right? You could give a feedback to one of the juniors about his poor performance, and you tell him straight or whatever. Some skills, other skills are required, but it's all about communication. It's about talking, the way you practice yourself. So communication has got your whole entire body, language, and many things. I will not drill down more to that, but I'm just saying that this skill is so very, very critical, right? The other skill about okay, so in communication skill, I just want to highlight that written skills is very, very critical. Both written and verbal are so critical when you start working in a company, because unlike a government office, you don't have to write a lot of mails. And if you have grammatical errors, sometimes Microsoft, they don't correct the grammatical errors. They can correct spelling errors, right? But they will not correct the grammatical errors. And if you have grammatical errors, it's a very, very big problem. Your subordinates may start feeling that you are not fit to be in that role. You can even go to that sometimes, okay? Because your verbal, you may not speak well, but your verbal communication has to be absolutely clear, absolutely clean, and it should not have any errors. So if you feel that you are weak in grammatical errors, your grammars, there's no, you don't have to feel shy about it. Start working about it, right? If you feel that you're overweight, what do? Can you sit and cry and talk to Uzat Jibon and say, sir, my weight is very heavy, what should I do? Or can you give me a tablet or whatever? But I think it's like very simple. Wake up in the morning, do exercise, right? It's not finished. Maybe it was a little cold. I like to see cold. But yeah, I don't like coffee. Don't like that. Anyway, so communication skills is something that again I'm saying it's an ever learning process. I cannot say that I'm very, very good at communicating. I can say I'm good at communicating skills because I've learned something, but I still have to learn a lot, because as I go up the ladder, the leadership style is different, the way you speak becomes different. If you become a very big leader, you're going to say just one word, and then that word means everything, So there's kind of impactful words, leadership, and the way they carry themselves, the way the attires are, those kind of things. So please work on this skill, and I should put that at the top. This is the most critical thing in your life, and I'll tell you why. The last point, I've said many reasons. If you attend an interview, what's happening there? I've had so many people who are very, very good technical-wise. They're good at computer programming, or they can do work. But when they face the HR manager, they don't want to talk. They don't want to express themselves. And that's the reason why people don't get jobs. And they say, I've lived in Delhi for 2 years, but I didn't get a job. But guess what? They also don't know what is lacking behind. What is the thing that is going wrong? And the other problem is that they also don't ask a lot of questions to people like me who are around. Our seniors and friends and all. One thing is like, people don't ask friends because their ego gets hurt, right? You don't ask your friend for help around something or whatever. So you have to come out of that. If you need help, if you want to learn language if you want to learn a French language, and a 15-year-old boy is going to teach you French, you're still going to learn, right? because he is better than you. But somehow we have this mentality, I can't learn from a junior. But that's not correct. You can learn from a child who knows how to play piano. You don't know piano. He is like a 10th level in piano. He can teach you piano, right? What's wrong in learning piano from that boy? So when you want to learn, you can learn from all sources. You don't have to learn from a guru like 70 years old with all his hair and now I'm going to teach you, management. No, you can learn from many sources. So don't put those boundaries when you want to learn. Okay? Analytical skills is something that I feel that as you go up and as you work in any levels that I was talking about and any phase that you go, your analytical skills of your ability to analyze something becomes very critical. And when I say that, you're going to use tools like Microsoft Excel to a very, very large extent. You may not necessarily have to learn Microsoft Access. That's a database. But Excel, to some data point of 100 lines or 200 lines, and we generally analyze the billings of the clients or some data, some report. You're going to make some pie chart, you're going to make some trends, you're going to see the data, and the data is there's a subject called data interpretation, right? That's the subject I'm talking about. But the skill is called analytical skills in the corporate world. You got to learn that. You got to master that. When you see data, don't run away. Don't get scared of data. Play around. Play with Excel. There's so many shortcut keys in Excel that you can play around, put some data, create a pie chart, create a bar graph, create this graph, trends of what happened in the past, what's happening this year, and all that. So every company or every role that I'm saying will require some amount of analysis. You will not have somebody working for you all the time. Okay, even if you're a business leader or I'm a consultant right now, or this migration consultant, I actually do not have anybody working for me. I have a lot of data to be analyzed, I have a lot of reports to be made. I make it myself. So if I don't know Excel, I'm dead, right? So that's important. And the fourth skill that I'm saying is some amount of technical skills. That technical skill, I'm not going to talk about it, but I think some technical skills about understanding, let's say, how the tools like Java or Oracle, SAP, and all that, how do they work? Technical skills may not be appropriate. I'm talking about technical knowledge. The way the world is growing really fast in terms of IT is changing every day, right? So you're going to understand the technology. You're going to understand when the client says something, you're going to be one step ahead of the client. So that's very, very critical. That's why I said, based on the role. So the technical skill is based on the role, what you're working. So if your team members work in SAP, you're going to know some amount of SAP. If your team members are working on PeopleSoft, that's an HR tool, you're going to know about PeopleSoft. What does it do? So that when they come to you with a problem, you may not be able to answer the solution, give the solution, but you can always debate, okay, this is how it works. So what is happening here? Show me what is happening here. Why is this data wrong? And all that. So you're going to have some technical knowledge to probe, to ask questions, right? And next is I think this is probably the last slide of this session, and I've taken about 5 minutes extra. So any questions to that point? And I know there are several slides, it will link up my first 4 slides also, but any questions till now? Or am I going too fast? I think sometimes I tend to speak a little fast, but am I speaking too fast? It's okay? Speed is okay? But if you have a question, and if you can't, sometimes you think too fast, so you can't speak, but I think you can write it down. That's something that I learned recently. That you can write down whatever you want to ask, write down everything, and you can actually read it out to me. Or give it to me, I can read it out. But any questions? Anybody has a question at the moment? Any quick questions? Is it helping you? Makes sense? Okay. So shall I continue sometime? But I want to stop here because I want some questions. Because you don't ask questions, go back to the same feedback Jim and Chad Thomas was saying that I don't know why Manipur in particular doesn't ask questions. I don't know why. Either they're scared or either they have I asked this question to one of the child once that why don't you take help from your seniors? Why don't you ask questions? So and then why don't you show some respect to your seniors? Okay. maybe it's 3 years senior, 4 years senior, doesn't matter. Or 10 years senior, doesn't matter. But show some respect and you can talk nicely and ask questions, right? So I think the response was like, you know, they don't want to give respect for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's very difficult. It's not coming out so naturally. And then it's very difficult, I think, for them to use words like excuse me, please, thank you, and I'm sorry. These are very interesting words which we have forgotten to use, right? How many times have you said today or in the past 1 week to somebody, I'm very happy, I'm very thankful, these words are gone. I think it's gone out of the vocabulary for some reason. But in the corporate world, the more you use these words, in America, you got to use these words a lot. You can't push people. It's very, America is a very different world. Team Intra can share our experience, but I think there people are very, very